Welcome to Cultivating Courage, a podcast exploring fear, courage, and stepping into a life filled with purpose, connection, and love. This week, I'm chatting with comedian Lia Berman about becoming a parent, her new podcast, Parental Advisory, and creating new healthy routines and strategies for her family, including taking the word should out of her vocabulary. Welcome to another episode of Cultivating Courage. I am your host, Kristen Robinson. You all know that by now, I hope. Anyway, I am joined this week by my guest, Lia Berman. Welcome.
Hi. I'm excited.
I am excited to have you here.
Yeah,
Lia
is
and
cool.
I haven't actually met. This is our first time meeting, but you are a mom. You're a comedian.
I am.
You're a podcaster.
I am.
And you are a huge Dave Matthews Band fan.
I'm a huge Dave Matthews Band
Yeah,
fan.
what's funny is so Lia had mentioned that to me in as we were emailing back and forth, and I legit was going to ask you today, I'm going to ask her, how big of a Dave Matthews Band fan are you? Do you have a tattoo? And then you walk in and you have a necklace on. And I was like, okay, it's legit. She's a huge fan. Because I feel like that's the level, because Dave Matthews fans,
We're the real deal.
Yeah.
If you're a fan, you're a fan.
Yeah. And you have
you're an unapologetic fan.
Yes.
You're actually in comedy bios when people say you want to write something about yourself, and I'll just say I do this podcast, and she's an unabashed, Dave Matthews Band fan.
Yeah. No apologies about it.
I do not have any apologies about it.
Yeah. I love that. I think that there's certain things in life that bring us joy, right? Yeah. And some of those things we feel bad about. People make us feel bad about them.
Oh, people make me feel bad about it
all
the time.
I feel like band choices is one of those things sometimes
I don't care
that people
what you listen to.
Yeah,
listen to it. That's
I'm
good.
not forcing you to listen to it.
As long as you're listening to something that makes you happy, I really don't care. I personally am not going to listen to it, but you know what I mean? If it's something I don't like, but I actually have a very wide range of music that I like. So, yeah.
I'm kind of the same. I listen to kind of everything.
Yeah.
But I'm also really bad at recognizing who it is. I'll be like, oh my God, I love this song.
Good. I'm I should be on Name That Tune.
Well, wait, did I read something that you want to be a DJ someday?
I was always wanted to be a DJ.
Yeah.
That was growing up, I would make do mixtapes in my room with my double cassette,
right,
boombox, play record, and I would be the DJ. I've always wanted to be.
Do you think?
And I think that podcasting is kind of the closest I've come to that.
Yeah. Do you think you'll make the leap?
Oh, I think I don't know.
What keeps you from going down that path?
I'm just that's back to school. That's back to you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then do I have the time to do that right now? Maybe in the future. But but also learning about podcasting and doing my own podcast and watching we have the same producer, watching our producer work on it, and I'm learning a lot about it. Yeah. So
it is interesting how much goes into it.
Yeah, the podcast world is I know this comedian who Kevin Kellum, and he is fantastic, but he is a DJ, and I watched him go on this journey to be a DJ, and it is a lot of getting coffee to start out for years until you get it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's such an interesting world.
Yeah, it's a totally different world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your podcast. It's called Parental Advisory.
Parental Advisory.
And you just started it not too long ago.
Yeah, we started it in I want to say end of February, maybe.
That's about the same time we started
this.
Oh,
really?
One. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, it had always been we had been talking about it, and then I was all right, let's just do it.
Yeah.
It was kind of my 2019, I want to have done this.
Yeah.
And had this under my belt.
Did you have, why did you want to start it?
I feel, okay, I haven't really sorted out these feelings, but it's along the lines of I love being a comedian, but I can't keep up. I'm a mom, and I have a full-time job, and I have a husband. I can't keep up with that lifestyle. I'm not, it's very late night for me.
Yeah.
It's very it's so when I run my open mic, those my open mic is on a Monday night. Those Tuesday mornings are
Yeah.
they are rough.
Right.
You know, so like it's really hard for me. So like starting the podcast was a way to like still keep relevant in the comedy scene because I'm interviewing comedians.
Sure. Yeah, right.
You know, who are also parents. And with my open mic, it's like I'm still in the scene, but I'm pulled back a little bit. I don't have the pressure of like having to go to the open mics, having to, you know, I'm just not there in that scene right now.
Yeah.
It's it's a very confusing scene.
Yeah. In what ways?
Just like it's
assume that my audience knows nothing about the comedy world.
I like don't even know that I'm like
you're like I'm not qualified either.
I'm not, and that's like why, but that's also like why I feel like I had to do the podcast. Like I don't know that I'm even qualified to be a comedian. Like I don't even know that I've put in the effort that is required at the moment to do the new work and write that. I write jokes all the time. Don't get me wrong. I'm a mom. And are we swearing on this podcast?
Yes.
Like shit happens. Like shit literally happens.
Yeah.
And I have to write the joke down because it's funny. Like it is funny. And like I do them at my open mics and I do shows. But I'm not like sending out avails to clubs and, you know, trying to get booked on things. Like I'm happy if something comes my way.
Yeah.
But I'm more like excited for my friends right now. I'm like watching them really take off.
Yeah. So the podcast is kind of a way for you to still like use your voice and be doing something that you care about and you're passionate about, but doing it your way.
And doing it with like what's going on with me. Like, you know, a lot of comedians have kids and that's why I'm able to have a podcast and that's awesome. But a lot of the, comedians that I know that are kind of in my class, you know, that are kind of like the ones that I came up with.
Right.
They are not trying to have kids anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like they are not in that world that I'm in.
Yeah.
And so there's a disconnect there. And so this was a way for me to kind of like carve out my own space.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you're enjoying it?
I mean, I do love it.
Yeah.
I do. I think it's so fun. It's almost like an hour of therapy, you know, like I find so much of a connection that like I didn't know I had with these other parents. And then the fact that they're comedians, like that just makes it funny.
Yeah.
Like we're just like, we're not, I was kind of trying to be the anti-Instagram mom in a way. Like I am so obsessed with certain Instagram moms, like to a point where it's like not healthy. Like,
do you compare yourself to them?
Oh my God. Like,
are we like the worst about?
Are we going to go there? Like, how do they have their house so clean? How did they get the good lighting? How did they get their kid to sit there?
Why is their kid never crying?
Never crying. They own a home. They have a backyard. You know, I mean, like, I'm just.
Oh, look at the baby napping on the
There's
dog.
No snow.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like, it's everything. Like, it's just, you know, or like they live in, you know, they live in this, or they do live in the snow. Like, I know this one Instagram mom I follow, like, does live in weather. But she has this, like, beautiful mansion. And, like, like, oh, my God, your house is so nice. How did that happen? How did that happen? You know, so I kind of wanted to be like the anti. Like I kind of wanted to be like, how are we doing this? I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I somebody help me because I have no idea if what I'm doing is right.
Well, and I mean, I'm not a parent, but a lot of my friends are, and I feel like that's a very common sort of thing, but people just don't talk about it unless they talk about it like with their close friends. Otherwise, it's like always like I have it all together and I know what I'm doing.
I'm guilty. Like I only put the pictures of my kids smiling up.
Of
like
course.
I'm
that's
not
social
very
media.
real.
That
like,
is
I'm
the
not,
world.
It is
of
and
social
like
media.
but it's also like upsetting because it's like I'm not being very like authentic with like. So I try to like do. You know, when on my Instagram, like I do try to do like stuff where I'm just like, you know, he's angry and like I'll do like a little video of him like I didn't give him the cookie and it's like him crying. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I have to keep it real, but I do most of the realness on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to backtrack, because I don't think I called this out.
Okay.
Tell us a little. So your podcast is called Parental Advisory.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what it's about.
So I interview comedians. Literally, I interview comedians on how they became parents and how are they balancing the parent comedy life. How do you go to open mics? How do you book your shows? How are you doing this? You know, are you married? Are you single? How is the balance? I've got comedians who have been on there who have teenagers. Who have told me, the saga.
Yeah.
And then I have comedians on there. Like I just had Jessica Hong, who's a fantastic comedian. And she came on and she has a 9-month-old.
Yeah.
And she, was telling me all about it and how scary it was to go back after having the baby. And it was a very real conversation where like, I don't have anybody to talk to about that.
Yeah.
My friends are great. They're super supportive, but they're also not comedians. So they don't know about like how scared I was to get up on stage after like gaining 60 pounds and like having to like go up and like show these little skinny girls to the stage. That was very hard.
Yeah. It's how do you get through it? What do you tell yourself? What do you kind of like draw on to get up there on stage?
Now it's not so much of an issue, but at the beginning, I had to psych myself up. I really had to psych myself up to go to shows. I had to psych myself up to go to my open mic. I was sleep deprived.
Yeah.
I, wasn't back to any weight that I was willing to show myself. Nothing fit. I was still in maternity clothes, like hiding myself. But I would just like psych myself up and just be like, especially with the Logan Lounge, which is my open mic. It's 7 years old. It's my baby.
Yeah.
And I was like, you built this and you're going to go and you're going to do it. And like, and there were nights that I would come home and I would just like cry and just be like, I'm so tired. And but you just get through it.
Yeah.
You just do it because you love it.
Yeah. I think that makes a huge difference when it's something that you're passionate about and you care about and you built.
Well, and it was also a way for me to see people.
Yeah.
It was also a way for me to like get out of the house and like see my friends again.
Yeah.
And be like, hi, like, yeah, no, I had a baby, but let's not talk about him.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. You're like, I see him all day.
Right.
I see him all day.
I am not interested in him.
Yeah. Let's talk about,
treat me like a human.
Let's talk about grown-up things.
I took a shower.
Yeah. I'm
like,
here. I took a shower. We're not talking about the baby.
Tell me something. You went on a date? Oh my God. Tell me everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find that your friends, like that it's changed, but it hasn't?
My friends,
with your friendships?
My friends or my comedy friends? Because there's a difference.
I can see that.
Yeah.
With both groups. Start with your friends.
Okay, my friends, we all pretty much became moms at the same time.
Oh, that's nice.
All pretty much within, I have a few friends who had babies they're older now. They're like, they're 5 or 6. And then there's like a bunch of us that had babies within a few months of each other and within a year of each other.
Okay.
So all our kids are able to play right now.
Yeah.
And we were able to really lean on each other for being, we had kids at the same age.
Yeah.
So
like, is this normal?
I'm so sleep deprived. I hate this.
Yeah.
I can't lose weight, whatever.
Yeah.
With my comedy friends, I think, and maybe this is just me and what I think, but I do think people were a little standoffish at first. Like I was a really like kind of fun, crazy girl who like got pregnant and like it was kind of like, oh my God, Leah's pregnant. Everything's going to change. And I think there was like a little bit of did things change with her? But I think people are starting to come around.
Yeah.
No, they haven't.
Right. You're still you.
Yeah, I'm still me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have a kid now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still going to light you at 3 minutes and tell you to get off the stage.
So one of the things we talk about on the podcast, or that I talk about, is just like this sense of community and the power in community. And it sounds like you kind of have that in both of your worlds, just a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And maybe more so the comedy community is like in the podcast right now.
The comedy community is an interesting community because it's incredibly supportive. This is an incredibly supportive group of people, especially Chicago, because there are other comedy communities in all different cities,
Yeah.
I feel like the Chicago comedy community is a very supportive community. That is not to say that everybody is not out for themselves.
Yeah.
They are.
Right.
Everybody is out for themselves. So it's interesting when when either tragedy hits or celebration is to be had.
Yeah.
It's a real community. And that's really wonderful.
Yeah.
It's also a really big community, so like I can't go anywhere without knowing somebody.
That's kind of awesome.
Or knowing somebody who knows somebody.
Yes. Yeah, it seems like it's a big community and yet very small at the same time.
Yeah.
Like very connected where everybody knows everybody and everybody knows somebody.
Yeah, or like I'll be at work and like somebody will be like, oh, how do you know blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, oh, my open mic. Like, like, of course.
Yeah.
Especially when you run an open mic and everybody comes to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually something kind of special is when you do run an open mic, they come to you. And so you get to see everybody.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like what has changed in you in the way that you go about everything? Because you said you have a 9-to-5 as well, comedy, mom. Like, what has changed in the past 3 years? Like, how you go about life since you maybe pre-kid, post-kid?
Yeah, like everything is built around him, whereas it used to be that everything was built around me. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Total.
So like me being
as a
here
single
right
person,
now, like
I 100% understand that.
Well, of course. And like, I mean, because I was sitting here and I was like, I am so happy to be here right now. Like, this is such a like lovely space and there's no toys and like, it's just, like, this is really nice. So like me being here right now, like you were like, well, what time works. Right. And I was like, okay, well, let me, now I have to think about this. Like, what's going on during the day? And it's a Saturday. And what does my husband, Michael, what does Michael have going on? And what does this have going on? Okay. And what time does he take a nap? Okay. He takes a nap at 1. So here's what I'll do. That's kind of how I think now. Yeah. Yeah.
And did you always see yourself becoming a parent someday?
Absolutely.
So you knew you wanted kids someday.
But I absolutely did not know how it was going to happen. I think I had wished for, or just assumed that it was going to be very, very fairy tale. And the more I think about it, the more how I became a parent is so perfectly me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it was not planned. It was, I never want to call him a mistake, but it was absolutely not planned. Yeah. And it was like, of course it wasn't. Yeah. Like, of course. Like, you had to have a kid to get organized. Like, that's how my life had to go. You had to make that leap. Yeah. And now you're like or like, my parents don't recognize me. They're like, I don't know who you are, but you're doing all of this. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. You're like, well,
go. How it's, they're like, good for you. Right. We support you. I feel like for me, I don't necessarily want kids. And so people that are parents and have always known they want to be parents, to me, are so brave. Like, because I think parenting has got to be like the scariest thing you could do. To me.
No, it's like see, so when I was like, so when I was not a mom, I was like, it seems so scary. Yeah. And on a level that I didn't really understand until I became a parent. So the scariness that I thought before I became a parent was like, it seems so scary. Like, they could get sick or they could, fall or, whatever. The scariness that I feel now is the like emotions I feel. Like, I cannot watch a news story that involves a child being hurt, abducted, missing, injured. I literally feel things I have never felt. Yeah. It's bizarre to me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like, I always think, for me, I think maybe because I have a counseling background, or maybe it's just because of like how I'm wired. Like, for me, the scary part is like, I'm responsible for this person.
And so responsible.
And like, even like, if you do everything the best that you can do, like, they're still probably going to be a little bit screwed up. I mean, because we all are. I do a joke, no matter how good our parents are.
I totally do a joke about like, what's the over under on how soon until my kid goes into therapy? Like, I mean, how much am I screwing him up? Like on a daily basis, which is also part of the podcast. But like, it's also like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do for, how much can I give him? Like, is giving him am I ever going to be able to give him enough? Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Because And I also think that love balances things out, right? And I think as like children become adults, they realize like how much they're loved, how, you know, your parents do the best that they can do.
And I always knew that, like on some level, but I mean, just being, look, I have a 3-year-old, right? And when my mom had a 3-year-old, she also had a 1-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about how much I'm struggling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. Like, how did she do that? Like, how, you know, and I got it. And until I had a kid, I get it infinitely more.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I mean, I don't know because no kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I hear is like you think you understand until you have a kid. And then it's like
having a baby. Like I would say to my friends all the time who had babies.
Yeah.
I would be like, well, how am I going to know that it's a contraction? And my friend would be like, you're just going to know. And I'd be like, well, that is a ridiculous answer. That is will answer me. How will I know?
What does it feel like?
And then a contraction hit and I was like, whoosh, okay, that was it. Okay, you're right. You will just know.
Yeah.
You will just know. Like that's kind of how I explain parenthood.
Yeah.
You just know.
Yeah, you just do it. You just
do it.
Yeah.
You do. You just do it. There are Michael and I talk about this a lot. Like, he was like a couple days old. His name is Jackson. Jackson was like a couple days old, and I was picking him up,
mm-hmm.
and he completely projectile vomited. Into my face, in my eyes, everywhere. Projectile vomited, and I was holding him.
Yeah.
And I didn't move.
Right. You didn't drop him.
Flinch.
You didn't. Yeah.
I said, that's okay, buddy. Okay. Did not wipe myself off, you know. And Michael, my husband, watched it and he was just like, that was crazy. And I was just like, I think that's what being a mom, like, I think I just became a mom.
Yeah.
Like, he vomited on me and I didn't move.
Yeah. And not just on me, but on my face.
On me. On me.
In my hair, in my eyes.
That's all right.
Dripping into my nose.
And there's been worse.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into it, but there's been worse. And you just do it.
Yeah.
Because you just don't want there's a quote that, and I'm going to butcher this quote, but it's something about, you know, wearing your heart on the outside.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it is. It's wearing your heart on the outside.
Yeah. And like.
And just being vulnerable to everything.
What an act of like courage that is. And to be able to say like, I mean, you know, my fear of like, oh my gosh, I'm totally going to screw him up. And you're recognizing like, yeah, probably every day I am. But like, I think even just being able to say that is a level of like vulnerability, but also insight to like where when you see something happening for your son, I feel like you'll be able to say like, all right, it's all right, buddy. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, let's go talk to somebody about this.
Yeah.
Or let's go, you know, let's you and I talk about this, or let's go talk to a professional. Like, let me help you work through like whatever you're working through.
Completely on board for whatever help he needs, whenever he needs it.
Yeah.
And I just hope that I can convey that to him to the point where when it's time for him to ask for help, he can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's a definite goal of mine.
Yeah. And I think that's so awesome. And one of my biggest fears around like the idea of parenthood is that even though I get that intellectually and I would want to be that, I'm a little bit terrified that I wouldn't be, that like my ego would be like, wouldn't allow me to recognize that like, oh, that's probably because of me.
Yeah.
Like, and instead of like being like, that's me.
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah.
Like, let me help you. I wouldn't be able to like do that. It's
hard.
Yeah. I imagine, like, I can't imagine.
Yeah. It's a lot of thinking all the time. Like your brain doesn't really shut off.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like it's just so, even right now, I'm just like, well, you know, I hope he's still sleeping.
Right.
You know, like, Doesn't matter. I'm here, but hope
exactly.
he is.
Yeah. Like, I hope he's still sleeping. I hope if he did wake up, he's not worried, like, where's mom?
No, he does. He usually like, no, he'll say like, wait, did you do a podcast? Because I told him I was going to go do a podcast. So
That's
nothing
so
he knows
funny.
what a podcast is, but he knows how to say it.
Yeah. Nice. He's like, you need to get him his own little mic.
Yeah, he's come to a couple of open mics and like he holds the mic and like he knows like on Monday nights I'll say like, okay, mama's gonna go to the open mic, and he'll be like, hey, you gonna tell the jokes? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna tell jokes. I mean, he doesn't know what a joke is, but you know, I told him that's what mama does on Monday nights. He gets it. Yeah. To a point. Right. He knows there's a microphone there.
Yeah.
That's what he knows.
Yeah. And he'll see you in the morning probably.
And I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah.
I just say like, I'll just see you when I get back. He's like, okay. I mean, it used to be bad. It used to be, you know, I'd have to lie with him, but now he's getting older.
Yeah. Aww. Toddler now.
I know, he's a little toddler. He's very much a toddler.
Yeah. Babies.
Yeah.
So let's chat about, I don't know, what's the biggest thing that you have going on outside of comedy and being a mom? Like, what are you into these days?
I am really into like, I mean, those are I'm really into like, it's more of like a concept. Like I'm more of like, I'm really into like just being like healthy and like we're eating well in my home and like I'm taking like vitamins and like I'm kind of like, I'm really into like just getting us on a good healthy track. That's kind of been my new like mission is like building like a really like good healthy environment for my kid and for my husband. Yeah, that's kind of been like, and just the whole concept, the whole wellness concept.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, is it mostly nutrition focused? Is it nutrition and like exercise and mental like wellness?
So it all kind of started because I really, really struggled with the amount of weight that I gained when I got pregnant. And it turned out that like I did have, my thyroid levels were all off. I ended up having hypothyroidism and had to get put on medication. And that's why I had gained so much weight. Yeah. But because I had gained so much weight, I had to take all that weight off. Yeah. Right. And so it was a whole, journey. And I got really into working out again after, 9+ months of not working out. And my husband got really into yoga, which made me super happy because I loved yoga too. And we just started going on this kind of like slow journey towards like wellness and like just getting back to like basics, you know, and even basics that like I wasn't doing for myself. Like, it's okay to sit up and watch TV late, but like put on a face mask, Leah. Like like do that for yourself. Like, so it's stuff like that like we're kind of like, that's like the environment that we're starting to like build around right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's so it sounds like you maybe have kind of a routine
we're getting
that you guys are doing. What's your favorite like part of your routine?
I do love, so there's like a farmer's market. There's like 3 farmer's markets within like 4 blocks of us, like on different days.
Oh, that's awesome that they're on different days too.
Totally. Yeah. Like we went to one today. Yeah. Like this morning we went to the farmer's market. And like I love like just going there with him and him getting like super excited about like, oh mama, there's strawberries. Yeah. And like, and then saying to my husband like, we should get this asparagus and like we'll chop it up and put it up with this and what and like getting like meal preps, like excited like about like cooking together, like just really doing like family stuff like that. So I do love that. And we live really close to this other it's called Harvest Time Fruit Market, and it's like really, really cheap produce. Yeah. Really cheap, good produce. And like I love going with Jackson and like just doing that and like making it like a thing that we did. Yeah. So that's been really fun.
Yeah. And I'm sure he just then like that's what you guys eat. Yeah, and he doesn't
together.
think
like
anything
he's old
about
enough now
it.
That he can help cook.
Yeah.
So like he's not like using a knife, but like he's helping me. Yeah. And we're like talking about it and like, oh, can you get me this from the fridge? And he will get it, Yeah. And just instilling those values. Like I'm really just trying like having a baby and getting married and our life started super, super fast and super unexpected. Yeah. And we had absolutely no time to nest and really figure out how we were going to be a family. Yeah. And I feel like now we've made it through the rain, kind of, you know, like we've made it through these really hard times.
Yeah.
And we're able to kind of regroup and be like, let's do this.
Yeah. Like you can create exactly what you want the experience to be. That's awesome.
And so like, I know that kind of falls under motherhood, but it's more like, it really is wellness and like taking care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Being there.
Yeah. What does that like really look like for you guys? Like when you picture like what you're creating right now, like in 6 months from now or a year from now, like what does it look like?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I don't know. It looks stable. It looks calming. You know what I mean? Like, I know those are just like idea, like to grasp, but like, that's what it looks like. It looks like a functioning, like it's not so chaotic.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to weed out the chaos.
Yeah.
And it's actually like exciting to be like, that doesn't serve us. This whole situation, it doesn't serve us at all.
Yeah.
We need to think about us. And a lot of the time we were letting outside forces influence how we were going to run our family.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know what we were doing.
Well, it's so easy to do. Like, I mean, for listeners that aren't parents, like, I mean, I feel like
people are always telling you what to do.
Yes. And like, even if they're not telling you what to do, you're making kind of like assumptions about what people think you should do. You know what
I'm like really, really working on doing is, and I am failing most of the time, but I am really trying to take the word should out of my vocabulary, especially when talking to other people. Like, and just really using I sentences and like just being like, you know, like instead of being like, you should go on a diet, be like, well, I found that when I stopped eating sugar, I felt a lot better. You know, like stuff like that. Like, not that anybody needed to go on a diet. That just came to my head.
Yes. Well, we were talking about losing weight.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Stop using should and create that environment where it's not like you should do this. This should be the way that it's just like, this is what worked for me.
Yeah. And I think you can do that for yourself too. Cause I think there's a lot of shoulds that we put on ourselves too.
I should have a clean house.
I
should Instagram mom.
Get up in the morning and work out. I mean, it's 20 minutes. Like there's so many shoulds. I should get home from my office job and sit down and instantly start working on my business. And it's just like, why should I do that? Like, right.
It's such a good, the should has so many facets to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of women that aren't moms, I should be married. I should have a baby. If I don't want a baby, but I should have a baby.
Right.
Because I should, right? Like,
yeah. I should want a family.
I'm 30, you know, I'm not 32, but I'm 32 and I should have a baby right now. Why?
Yeah.
Why should you?
Yeah.
Do you want to go to Paris? Go to Paris. Mm-hmm. Like, I wish I had.
Yeah.
You know?
I think about, so I have,
there's so many things I should have done.
Right. Right. The past tense should have. Yeah. I think about, like, I have 2 older nieces that one's in high school, one's in junior high. And I think about them and just like, what do I wish they knew now?
Yeah.
What lessons could what do I wish I had known at that age? What would have made a difference
in high school?
Yeah, to like high school. Like what if I could only tell my niece that's in high school one
such a loaded question
that could change everything for her forever. Not just like the high school experience, but life in general. Yeah.
Like, you don't have to anything.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to college right after high school. You don't have to do this. If you don't want to do something, don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're probably making the right decision.
Right.
Your gut is the right decision.
Yes. I think I would add that, like, look at it a little bit as to why you don't want to do it.
Yes.
First.
Why doesn't it appeal to you?
Because it might be that you don't want to do it because you're afraid of doing it.
Which is a whole
different thing. But to your point, like, if it's something that just doesn't feel right and you do the exploration and it's like, it's not something that makes me like scared, or I'm
Right.
worried about failing, or I'm worried about this, that, or the other. And that's why I don't want to do it. But if it just doesn't feel right and it feels uncomfortable and you're just like, I don't want to do this.
You don't have to sit in the uncomfortable.
Yeah. You don't have to do it.
And you don't have to stay. For me, if it was me and I was going to tell myself like something about in high school, I'd be like, you don't have to stay in relationships that you don't want to be in. Like you can just say this is not for me.
Yeah.
You don't have to let them linger.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and I think part of that too, sometimes is like who you are,
and friendships too,
is enough.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because I think at that age, and even as adults, right? Like at least I struggle with like, you can just be who you are.
Yeah.
You know, and the people that are meant to be a part of your life will be a part of your life.
Yes.
Like, you don't have to change who you are or what you believe, or like
you can evolve. Your
right.
ideas can evolve.
Right. But you don't have to be someone you're not to have friends and to find a relationship and all of those things. Yeah.
Yeah. I always tried to change, and because I was like very afraid that like my true authentic self is very big and, you know, bold, whatever, obviously you can tell. And so it's very hard for me to like keep that in. And I would always try, oh my God, I just would try to reimagine myself like 1,000 times to be, you know, more, I don't know.
Tone it down.
Just tone it down. And it just, I realized it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This is who I am. I am very loud.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah. And it feels better to be really loud and big and bold than to try and like
infinitely better.
Tamp yourself down.
Infinitely better.
Yeah. Because it always feels better to be who you are.
Well, and through comedy, I was able to kind of make fun of it. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this gives me a chance to just be like, I know I'm ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm aware. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
I've heard
I have
people,
to live with it.
I've heard people say that doing comedy is almost like therapy, in the sense that like all of a sudden you're very reflective on
all
like
the time.
yourself.
All the time. And
Yeah.
if I can make a joke about something that I'm going through, oh man, it helps.
Yeah.
You have to laugh.
Yeah.
You have to laugh.
Yeah. It's laughing is one of my favorite things to do.
How can it not be?
Yeah.
Like you have to laugh. Especially in like right now with everything that's going on, whether it's politics or the weather, or I mean, I always mention the weather because like I always say this winter in Chicago, I've been saying this all year, it almost broke me. I mean, it really.
Yeah.
And you have to laugh at it.
Yeah.
I would be standing on the train platform just like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like,
is this happening right now?
This is not happening right now. And
Yeah.
just like laughing about it because you have to.
Yeah. I feel that way about this spring.
This
and
spring
all
is
this
not
rain.
a spring.
And like and that's like,
What
I mean,
has
it's
it been
the middle
2
of
nice
June.
days in a row?
No.
Not 2.
No. No. And like
yesterday was nice.
It was, and today
Not
is
today.
not. I know. And I can't get over it. And like I complain from like just a user perspective, in the sense that like I have to go out and like commute to my job.
Totally.
And it's a pain in my butt. But like I grew up on a farm. My family is farmers, and like it's their livelihood. Like,
where did you grow up?
West Central Illinois.
Okay.
So kind of by the Quad Cities or
Okay.
Peoria.
Okay.
Yeah. And my dad and one of my brothers, they're full-time farmers.
They're farmers.
Yeah. And so like this spring, it totally messed with planting. Like they just finished planting this week.
Oh my God.
That's insane.
That's insane.
Yeah. And it's like, so we all complain like because it's a hassle for us. And then I feel bad about complaining because I'm like, well, it doesn't affect my, like, I still get paid the same amount whether it's raining or not.
I do think
like,
about that.
Yeah.
I do think about stuff like that where I'm like, well, I mean, whatever,
right. Perspective, right?
Late.
Yeah.
Like, not a big deal.
Yeah, totally perspective.
And then you just feel bad. You're like, all right.
Yeah, I'm a jerk.
Yeah, I'm a jerk. That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's so funny. But yeah, it's true.
Yeah. But honestly, the weather, I can't anymore.
It's bad.
But we can't go. I mean, where else can you go? I don't think you can go anywhere else.
No.
Because the weather, like, it's bad everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
It's been bad.
Mm-hmm.
It will be summer soon. I promise.
Yeah.
I promise.
I always count on like the second week of June being summer. I never get upset and I never complain about the weather because in May.
Yeah.
Like everyone around me complains about it and can't understand why it's not warm and wonderful yet. And I was like, it's May because it's May in Chicago.
And it rained the entire month.
Yeah, it's never like you might get 3, 5, 7 days of nice weather in May.
It's a tease.
But it's not like.
But June.
But by the second week of June, it should be summer here.
Yeah.
And it's still not.
It's not. It's not. It's probably still raining out there right now.
Yeah. I know. I just heard, I was taking this workshop that talks about turning our complaints into like possibilities. And I'm not sure how to take my complaint about the weather and turn it into a possibility.
I mean, I'm gonna mull that one over for you.
Yeah, get back to me.
But yeah, I'm not. I mean, today I'm not. Like, I got caught at a playground. Like, I'm not happy with the weather.
Oh yeah. Well, that's gonna be hard too. Like when you just are stuck inside. When you could, when you maybe could be outside.
The worst.
Yeah.
It is the worst. You're
Yeah.
just like, oh my God.
We only have so much space.
Yes. Like then the neighbors are downstairs. Stop banging. Like
Yeah. At least, do you have a dog?
No.
I was
we have a
thinking,
cat. We have a cat.
Well, they step lightly. I was thinking like boom, boom, boom of like toddler feet running up and down the hallway like the dog also chasing.
The toddler feet. And I'm just like, oh.
That's all right.
Well,
that's part of it. Yeah. It's part. I feel like that's just part of living in the city.
It is.
And like, if you don't have a home and you're not on the top floor, part of city living is just footsteps.
It is. We're on the top floor. Yeah. Sorry.
That's the nice thing. Like I told myself, there was one apartment that I lived in, and I mean, the person that lived above me was like this petite little thing, and I just didn't understand how loud she could like how could she be that loud? But it's also
the building.
Yeah. And then I was like, can you just like take your shoes off? Like, do you walk around in your heels? Because that's what it sounds like. And after that, I was kind of like, I have to live on like a top floor.
Which are you right now?
No, there's somebody above me. But they're
can
really
you hear
quiet.
them?
No.
That's nice.
I can hear the bar below me. It's a different complaint.
That's different.
Yeah.
That's a different set.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It is. Okay, so I feel like we're kind of out of time.
Oh, this was fun.
Yeah, I'm glad you had fun. Me
this
too.
was really fun. I was excited.
Yeah, I really love just like meeting new people.
Yeah.
And I'm always, I've had a couple of people on the podcast that I don't know well. And then afterwards I'm always like, do you want to be like friends in real life now?
And also like, and I find that with my podcast too, I find that like the podcasts where I interview people that I don't know very well are the better podcasts. Cause I'm genuinely like
curious.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
Like that's really cool. Okay. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like I find that those interviews are the ones that are like, you can feel that I'm into it too.
Yeah. Well, because you're just more like you're curious.
Yeah,
when you're,
totally.
When you're
I'm sitting
talking
across
with like
a stranger.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know necessarily nothing about. Like,
totally.
4 bullet points. That's what we started with.
That's what
today.
we started
with.
I love it. That was fun. It was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
So if you were going to, we already did your high school self.
Yeah.
Let's do a different you. If you could, because I think you've had lots of experiences. You have probably more wisdom than you realize.
I hope. Yeah.
So what would you tell our audience? What do you feel like people need to know?
I think it goes back to being authentic. Be as authentic as you can be. Be who you are, because people will love that. They will feed off of that. That energy people can respect. And I think for a lot of us, we hide that. And I certainly did for a while. And you literally have to be you.
Yeah.
And shine it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a little part of it, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't have to love every single aspect of you, but there's probably a part of you that I'm just like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you showed that to me.
Yeah.
So I think being authentic is just huge.
Yeah.
And moisturize. I have to say it.
And wear a face mask when you're
You have
watching
to
TV late at
moisturize,
night.
You have to take care of your skin. Have to take care of your skin.
Yeah, sunscreen, everybody.
Like, ladies, just do it.
Yeah. Go get the facials. Put the sunscreen on.
And if you can't get the facials, like those sheet masks are amazing.
They are,
They really are.
But get the animal ones.
Yes.
Because those are more fun.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. Get the ones
Because
that are
if
like
you-
the stripes.
Yes, if you can be a tiger, why wouldn't you be a tiger?
Why won't you be a tiger? But I'm just really into moisturizing right now. So
That's awesome. All right, Leah, where can people connect with you?
okay. So Instagram, Lia Berman 3, LIABERMAN 3. So Lia Berman 3 on Instagram. You can watch all the shenanigans. The podcast is available on wherever you get your podcasts.
Awesome.
Parental Advisory. You can also find it on my Instagram page. I have links to it. And then it comes out on Mondays. James is telling me.
Yes.
It comes
What a
out
good
on Mondays.
producer.
Yes, he is. He is a good producer. It comes out on Mondays. Follow me there. And then at the Logan Lounge, if you're in Chicago, every Monday night there is an open mic at the Logan Theater in Logan Square. It's called the Logan Lounge. It's free. There's popcorn. Come. It's at a movie theater. It's super cool.
What more do you need?
Yeah, it's super cool. Watch comedians work it out. And yeah, just follow me on Instagram for all the bookings and everything.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Audience, that's another episode of Cultivating Courage. You can find me on Instagram at RobinsonKristin, KRISTIN. You can find my website, thrivecoachingstudio.com. And that's a wrap.